So I decided to get these energy efficient light bulbs. So it's a 40-watt bulb, but it only uses 29 watts. So you get like the glow of 40 for only 29. But I tried them out, and they're not as bright. So it's like I put these in the house, and like the house is dark. So all right, like I'm using less energy, but now I can't see things. Like I have stains on the shirt that I can't see, and I leave the house, and there's stains there. So do you call it efficient? Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. Well, DJ LeMahieu and his compound fractured foot finally joins the Yankees for the 2024 regular season. We'll kind of look at that, as well as, you might have heard the news there, and I know you might be a little sad, but fan favorite umpire Ángel Hernández has announced his retirement, but we'll get you through it. I know you're very sad about that, but we'll kind of give you the whole backstory. And of course, Anthony Volpe, as you know, going on an absolute historic tear, so we'll look at those numbers as well. And the Yankee rotation, even without Garrett Cole, again, also going on a historic tear pitching-wise. So a lot of positive stuff, a lot of good stuff. Again, we'll do a little goodbye to Ángel Hernández. I know it's not really Yankee-related, but of course, he's kind of a face around baseball, and it's just good to get him out there. So, put him out the pasture there. So get into a lot of stuff, but before we do, make sure if you're watching this right now on YouTube, subscribe. If you're watching this on TV, go to Section 420 Talkin Yankees. Get the episode a little sooner than we're waiting on TV. And subscribe there as well. And of course, there's an audio version podcast of the show. So as much as you'd like to see me, I do little updates and little cool things throughout the whole season there that you can't get anywhere else. You got to be an audio podcast subscriber. So wherever you get your favorite podcast, I'm sure there's a lot you like to listen to. Go into the search bar there, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Subscribe, follow, like, get it all. So in the last episode here, we kind of mentioned that DJ LeMahieu was scheduled to join the Yankees as they go on the West Coast trip. At the time, we didn't know exactly when it was, but then you kind of heard rumors it'll probably be during the Anaheim series, and of course, that's what it turned out to be. The Tuesday game, the 28th, against the Anaheim Angels, he was officially activated off the 60-day IL. Now, a little before that, he was put on the 60-day IL, and a lot of fans were like, wait, what is this? Is he hurt again? Was something wrong? As this is a formality, as it was kind of like, again, he was going to come off during the Angels series off the IL. There was this kind of a paperwork thing. Unfortunately, Kevin Smith, just for basically not even a cup of coffee, a drop of coffee was called up a little bit because John Birdie, as you know, during the San Diego series, came out of the box there, went down with a calf injury. Luckily, he didn't tear anything, but he's going to be on the IL for a while. So really, this is good timing because with Birdie out, then of course you insert DJ right in there, and of course you just needed basically Kevin Smith to keep the seat warm for DJ at third base there a little bit. So and again, he was gone. So but again, you knew that was going to happen anyway. But again, officially joined the team. Now batting ninth, which of course you figure he was going to do. Now there was some people thinking that if DJ's going to come back, they're going to take Anthony Volpe out of the leadoff spot. That was never going to be the case, and Boone shot that down quite early. I meant just the way Volpe's been on a tear lately. Again, what he's doing right now, 20 straight games at least up to this point, getting a hit. At the age of 23, tying a record, almost about to tie a record with, some guy called Joe DiMaggio. He would do that, and if he does get a hit in these next two games there, then he would actually extend that streak again. But this is the Joe DiMaggio, 23-year-old version of Joe DiMaggio. So, Anthony Volpe right now is on a historic tear, and you look at the 17 games up to before DJ joined the team. I mean, he was hitting 343 there at the leadoff spot. So, in no way, even though DJ was going to return, was he going to take Anthony Volpe's spot there and the leadoff role. I mean, this Boone's going to keep rolling with that. So I don't think that was ever in danger. Now, look, at the start of the season, I think the plan was for DJ to be the leadoff hitter there. And according to Aaron Judge, DJ was looking as the best as Judge has ever seen him. So maybe that could have been the case. But again, when Volpe hitting there hot there at the top of the lineup, at no way were they going to take Volpe out of the leadoff spot. So I don't think that was ever in danger there. So anyway, he was able to join the team. They batted up ninth, which you figure they're going to do. You kind of want to ease DJ in there a little bit. And he played the entire game. Now, he went 0 for 3 with a walk. Okay, you're not expecting to hit like 5 home runs in his first game there. Now, he did get with the walk, though. He did score on a Juan Soto RBI hit there, and he was able to come around and score there. So, looks like the foot's working so far. It didn't fall off. It didn't break into 20 pieces. And again, he was able to play the entire game there at third base. So far, so good. We'll take it, and we'll just see, if this is something he's able to manage through the rest of the season. Obviously, he's got to put up some numbers. I don't know what type of numbers we're going to expect him in. I almost, a couple weeks I was ready to just write him off for the entire season. But look, he's there. I'll give him that, and let's just see what he can contribute. Now, I just think it is good to have him there, though. He put some pressure on mainly Gleyber Torres, who I know he's been hitting a little bit better there, but you look both, hitting and in the field there. Gleyber hasn't been doing that well so far in 2024. I'm going to overlook the numbers, so maybe DJ LeMahieu could put a little pressure on him, at second base, because we know DJ could also play second. I don't think they would take a ton of time away from Gleyber a little bit, but I just think DJ there does, maybe light a fire on the Gleyber a little bit just to be a little bit better. Mainly because, of course, offensively, but also defensively. Again, his defense this season not too good. And just want to look at some of the other Yankee infielders here just so far in the season. And just about the equal amount of games. Gleyber so far this season has 7 errors, which is, it's kind of a lot there. And just in comparison, Rizzo at first base there only has 3. Volpe, who I just mentioned before, at shortstop only has 5. And Oswaldo Cabrera, now I know he bounces around a lot, but he does play a lot of the infield, mainly third base there, while with DJ and Birdie, whatever, not available, only has 4. So you look at Gleyber's 7 errors there. So I think having DJ come in there, that puts a little pressure maybe on Gleyber, both, again, offensively and defensively. So that's a good thing. And again, for LeMahieu, I don't know what to expect for him. Again, I don't think you're going to get the DJ LeMahieu from 2019 when he was hitting 320 and it was almost like an MVP. And again, the Yankee fans were clamoring to have him back. I don't know if that guy's there anymore. I don't know if he's the DJ we've seen the last 2 years who's only hitting 240, 250. He's probably more around like that. But again, as long as he hits, 260, 270, stays in that neighborhood, and just plays solid defense, I think we'll take it, and we'll just see what happens. And again, eventually get Birdie back. Now, look, DJ straight up is probably a better player than John Birdie, at least offensively. But again, defensively, I think DJ can at least man the base there. And again, third base there, you're not asking him to cover as much ground as you would second base there. But again, I just think it's good just to have DJ in the mix a little bit as a threat to Gleyber. That, look, hey, if you're not hitting and if you keep doing these little bonehead plays in the field there, hey, we could swap you out there with DJ there. So maybe it's a good thing for Gleyber. So we'll see how it all works out. But the big news, DJ is back. I was debating whether to hold this news a little bit later in the episode or bring it a little further, but I guess we might as well get it out of the way, and that's, of course, the retirement of fan favorite umpire Ángel Hernández. And actually, a couple episodes, here we actually kind of highlighted him and CB Buckner as maybe just 2 of the worst umpires in baseball. And it looks like this, enough is enough. And now he's officially retiring, they're saying, but of course it's dead obvious that he was probably being forced out of baseball just because it's become too much of a nuisance. I mean, there's just so many highlights of him just blowing obvious, bad calls, a strike or calling a ball and a ball calling a strike and stuff like that. I mean, his strike zone is just absolutely horrendous, terrible, and this has been going on for a couple of years. And this just gets to the point where it's almost bigger than the game. Again, when you know the umpire's name and it's more bigger than you probably know the umpire more than you know the players on the field there, it's a problem because they're supposed to be there to call balls and strikes or outs and safe and stuff like that. They're not supposed to be bigger than the game, and it's becoming a distraction. So baseball had to do something with him now. Again, he's part of the umpires union, so you can't flat out fire the guy. But you can see that they've been slowly kind of moving him out there, and it looks like this is official. So the story is coming from both the Athletic and USA Today, saying that over the past 2 weeks, actually, there's been negotiations on both sides between baseball and Ángel Hernández. So this is, again, it's been a negotiated thing over a couple of weeks where I guess they'll just give him some money and he's just going to say, oh, okay, I'll retire, not that you're firing me. Now, Ángel Hernández's lawyer was reached for comment, and he eventually said in a text back saying that he was not forced out. But you can kind of tell, look, they're looking to get rid of the guy. Now, I didn't even know this. Actually, last year, he only umpired 10 games. Supposedly, they gave him a light workload because of a bad back. So you can see they were trying to downsize him a little bit into it, the point where they look at this, phase him out, and now it looks like they finally phased him out. His last game this season was on May 9th, so again, he's not really been that much active, and even that game there was some controversy with some of his strike zone there. So the guy's is an absolute disaster, and it's a little tougher in this day and age where right now you have like replays all over the place. You have replays from every angle. You have HD. I mean, they could really look at these strike zones now, and maybe he could have gotten away with it in the 80s and 90s where you just don't have the replay the same way, and the camera isn't that tight and you can't get these angles where to see how bad the call is. Well, now, again, you watch these games on television, whether it's on Yes or ESPN games, something like that. You got the automated strike zone. I mean, now you can see how bad some of these calls are, and as Ángel Hernández is the worst of the worst. I mean, we've seen players chew him out there, get thrown out, yell at him, just tell him he's the worst. And again, when you have that, it becomes a distraction to the game, becomes bigger than the game. And and again, I just think the best thing for Ángel Hernández and baseball is just to phase him out. And it looks like they finally found a solution to do that. Only 62 years old now. His thing is that he wants to spend more time with his family. Blah 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 blah. Because that's the wording there. Obviously, he was forced out. It was just getting intolerable. Where you just don't want him in there. You don't want him in doing your game there. And again, a lot of baseball series at some point, if it's a 3-game series there, okay, you could hide him at first base, second base, third base like that, okay. But, at some point, though, you're going to have him umpiring behind the plate there, and it's just always a disaster each time. I mean, how many, we all seen the replays there time and time again. He just has an awful strike zone. I don't know what the situation is with him, who knows, but nevertheless, looks like he just really degenerated over these years there. Because, you didn't hear him too much in the 90s, but again, over the last decade or so, everyone was complaining about Ángel Hernández, so it looks like this got worse and worse. Yeah, and whoever his eye doctor was, whatever happened to his eyes, they completely fail on the guy. So that's that. But we'll look back at his career a little bit. So he actually started in 1991, at least in the majors, but he did, umpire in the Florida League before that. So the guy's been at it for 30-plus years. Mentioned before, 62 years old. Now, he did have a lawsuit back in 2017. You may recall, of course, even back then he had a bad reputation, so baseball was trying to keep him out of the postseason, definitely keep him out of the World Series, because you don't want someone like horrible like that calling strike zone in a big, important World Series game. So they were keeping him away from the World Series, so supposedly, well, that's what it did. So he put up a lawsuit in 2017 against baseball for keeping him out. Now, he mentioned because racial reasons, which it's kind of weird like that. But eventually that lawsuit was thrown out in 2021. So I'm sure that really rubbed baseball, MLB, the wrong way as well. Just the idea he brought this lawsuit against them. So I'm sure they weren't too happy with him as well, looking to get him out of there. So he's finally gone, so they won't have him, to kick around anymore. And it seems like everyone's happy with him gone. Even former Yankee CC Sabathia tweeted out over there on X there, a Porky Pig, that's all, folks, there. So everyone's happy that Ángel Hernández is gone, and it's good for him too, because it's like, look, look, he's making money, he's on baseball, he's on TV, great, like stuff like that. But who wants to get harangued and known as a terrible umpire and always have your when you're the highlight of a game versus like a home run or a double play, like Ángel Hernández blowing a call is usually a highlight of a baseball game. It's kind of terrible there, so why you want to live that and work that? So I think it's the best thing for all sides for him just to part ways. So looks like that's the case, and we won't have Ángel Hernández to kick around anymore. So I guess we can get back into baseball, at least on the field with the Yankees, and kind of highlighted this, the last episode of the Yankees, the reason they're doing well, again, the pitchers, low ERA, and of course the hitters hitting, which is kind of good for me. You want to be hitting and pitching and stuff like that. But again, I want to dive that the Yankees are doing some historic stuff, not only with Anthony Volpe, but the Yankees starting rotation overall there, and reaching a feat so far this season of going 14 straight games with the starters. Now, this is the starters, of course, going 5 innings and giving up 2 or fewer runs, and that's a record tying going back to 1893. So this Yankee rotation right now, without Garrett Cole right now, doing some historic stuff, and as a team, again, just the starters, or not the relievers, but the starters at this point, second lowest ERA in all of baseball with 2.72 the ERA. So, the rotation is looking great right now, and you just look at, people were worried about at the beginning of the season, do they have enough pitching? Is Nestor Cortez going to come back healthy? Can Rendon bounce back there? Marcus Stroman, we see him, perform good as a Met, but can he do it here in a Yankee uniform? Can Clark Schmidt take that next step? And Luis Gil, this guy's coming back from Tommy John surgery. I mean, what can he do? What can he contribute? Well, it's all coming up roses for the Yankees overall. Nestor's still a little flicky on the road there, but again, he's kind of calmed that down a little bit there. But overall, you look at this Yankee rotation, and you just got to give credit to Brian Cashman. As much as you want to kill him there, stay in the course there. It could have been very easy to do a panic move to get a trade there. And we'll kind of get into this in maybe the next segment there, but some moves the Yankees could have made and see how some of those other pitchers and players are doing there. But again, Cashman decided to stay the course. Got Stroman, which again at the time wasn't the sexiest move. Everyone wanted maybe like Jordan Montgomery to come back, or wanted Blake Snell, stuff like that. But he kind of just went for the kind of undescript move with Stroman there, and Stroman has been absolutely fabulous. I mean, his record really should be much better. He's had the bullpen and maybe the offense let him down a couple of times there. And even Clark Schmidt, maybe he's cooled off a tad a little bit there, but he had a tremendous stress as well. So hey, this is all you got to credit to Cashman. Again, just looking into this, and again giving a shot to Luis Gil there, who pitched fabulous, had a spring training, and really this has been lights out ever since there. And you probably look at some of these moves that were going around, at least involving a trade. Probably Luis Gil's name was probably in there, and I understand now why Cashman did not want to give him up. And of course, now you see it all paying off dividends. And again, as ways Cole works his way back, so far no setbacks reported. That's all good. He'll be able to join the rotation. Now you hear people saying maybe that possibly the Yankees should consider maybe a 6-man rotation for a chunk of the season, rest of the way. may not be terrible. A couple of reasons you want to look into that, because someone like Luis Gil has not thrown this many innings. So if you want to give him some extra days off and some planned days off there, you could do that, stretch him out a little bit. That's not really a terrible idea. Same with Clark Schmidt. Again, I know he did a full workload last season as mainly a starter, but he's not completely stretched out. He could use some days off. And of course, Garrett Cole. Look, he's just coming back from his, I guess you want to call it tweaked nerve type of injury there. I mean, yeah, he didn't have any surgery or anything like that. But again, you want to get him gradually back into the fold a little bit. You want to hit him, you don't want to throw too much at him at once. So again, if you go with a six-man rotation, at least for a couple of turns, during the middle of the season, it's not really the worst idea in the world. So let's see if maybe you want to do that. And of course, Marcus Stroman, who's very, at least lately in his career, has gotten off the good first half and has struggled like he did last season, struggled in the second half. So maybe he's someone that tires out a little bit, so he could also benefit from a six-man rotation. So something that the Yankees might want to toy with. Of course, you have to get Cole back into mix and even consider that. But for those reasons I mentioned, actually, it may not be a terrible idea to go for a six-man rotation. Maybe just roll that way maybe through June and July, and then maybe you want to shrink it down a little bit as you fine-tune go the end of the season. Then you could do that. But at least for the starters, again, you have these options, and as long as everyone's healthy, the Yankees could make that move. And there's a lot of history being done with this 2024 Yankees team, and that's of course with also Aaron Judge. Now, last episode here we mentioned again he was the American League Player of the Week for that week, but he just continues to be on a tear there and doing some historic stuff there. So I want to dive into that a 13-game stretch he's had, which he's done really some historic stuff. Again, no other player has done this, but we'll give you the overall line there in 13 games. He's hit .455 there, so that's going 20 for 44, 8 home runs, 8 doubles, 17 runs, 14 RBIs, a .56 OBP, and a slugging percentage, which is insane, 1.182. So he's over one by a significant margin there. Some players are like, you see the slugging, they're like .80 or .800 or .700. He's over the one there. So doing some crazy stuff, and then during that stretch, becoming the first player in Major League history. So first player in Major League history, so you're going back to Babe Ruth, Honus Wagner, Hank Greenberg, Mickey Mantle, even the 90s and 2000s, all the steroids going over the place. No player's ever done this before Aaron Judge this season there in a stretch of hitting in a 20-game span, 12 doubles and 11 home runs in a 20-game span. Again, as crazy as it might seem, no other player has ever done that in Major League history before. So, again, Aaron Judge is on an absolute tear, and just kind of insane just the way he had that bad first month there. And we were sure, is he hurt? Is something wrong? Is he finally starting to dip a little bit? He's over the age of 30. But no, he's just completely gone to tear, especially as the Yankees go on the West Coast. He's actually heated up as well there. So, again, just to highlight, in a 20-game span there, hitting 12 doubles and 11 home runs. No other player has done that before. And again, you can go back to Babe Ruth, you look at Mickey Mantle, you look at Willie Mays, Hank Aaron. No one's done it before. And you want to bump it up to the steroid era. Even Barry Bonds, and God knows what he was taking, even he wasn't able to do this. Aaron Judge is doing this all, assuming naturally, just because he's a good hitter and he's a pretty big guy there. So, again, you see a lot of good stuff from the Yankee team. Again, you don't want to get too ahead of yourself there, but a lot of good omens. Again, you got Volpe, chasing Joe DiMaggio's record there. You got starters doing stuff that hasn't been done since 1893. And then you have Aaron Judge starting a new mark of a record, something that hasn't even been done before. So, a lot of good omens, a lot of good stuff for this Yankees team. I know we got a long way to go still there, but you like to see little signs there, because when you do have a championship season, you kind of look back a little bit, and you always, it happens almost all the time. So-and-so set that record, or so-and-so did this the first time for forever there. You look back at the 98 Yankees, just the way the record had so many things that they've done there in terms of wins and things that has never been done before there. So I'm not going to put this Yankee team in the 98 camp there, but it's going to show when you see players doing special things there, that's a good omen. So just hopefully they keep it going the rest of the way. Now, if you follow the audio podcast, which you should be doing, you want to take a sec right now, you can subscribe. Anyway, one of the recent episodes I kind of did, I called like the litmus test between the Yankees and the San Diego Padres. Reason being, I know they had a matchup at the start of the West Coast trip, but of course, they made the big trade during the offseason, mainly the Yankees landing Juan Soto. Of course, Trent Grisham was kind of a throw in there, and the Yankees kind of giving it Michael King and kind of a boatload of arms and prospects there to get him back there. And you kind of wonder, was it a good move? How is it going to pan out? And of course, San Diego didn't stop there. They signed former Yankee Wandy Peralta. I thought the Yankees should have tried to retain him. They looked like they were kind of interested there, but nevertheless, he goes there. And of course, the Yankees were kind of looking at Dylan Cease at the start of the season when there was kind of concern the Yankees don't have enough starting pitching. The Yankees looked like they were in the mix there, but ultimately it was San Diego that pulled off the trade with the White Sox to get Dylan Cease. And last but not least, it also looked like the Yankees were kicking the tires there on Luis Reyes, the second baseman there for the Marlins. But ultimately, it's San Diego who jumped in there to land Reyes there. And you kind of figure like, well, okay, they got their players, the Yankees got their players, who would turn out better? Which team would be doing better? Was it a good decision for Cashman to hold tight on that? Was it a good decision for Cashman to pull the trigger, on the moves he made there? So I figured, let's take a moment here. Let's look at both teams. Let's look at some of the players there, and let's see where they're at right now, and let's see whether it was a good move or not. So, obviously, you could look at it high level there. Of course, the Yankees just, about 18 games over 500, so a near 20 games over 500 there. So versus San Diego, which right now just one game over 500. So if you want to look at both clubs right now, Yankees in a much pretty position, of course, leading there in the AL East, albeit just a couple of games. But again, at the top there in the AL East, where San Diego's obviously in the middle of the package, are kind of struggling a little bit there. So overall, it looks like the Yankees have the better team, the better roster, the better team that's playing well right now. But of course, let's just look at the players individually. Well, on the Yankees side, it's pretty easy. Juan Soto, he's hitting .310, 65 hits, 14 home runs, 39 runs, 44 RBIs. We're not even at the midway of the season yet. The guy has almost 50 RBIs there. So this guy's going to have well over 100 RBIs when we're there at the end of the day, as long as he doesn't get hurt there. Now, Trent Grisham, obviously not doing too much for the Yankees, but he was just kind of a throw-in. Again, they put him for late inning defense there, but that's all he is. Again, not hitting much, not doing much there. But again, that's not reason the trade there. The trade there was for Soto, and not only just Soto the numbers he's putting up, but just the effect he's having up and down the lineup. And of course, with Aaron Judge doing well, I'm sure that a lot has to do with, again, hitting around Soto there. So he's been rubbing off the rest of the lineup there, no doubt about it there. So that's what we got for the Yankees. But you look at what Cashman sent over to San Diego and the moves that San Diego made. Let's see where some of those players stand. So probably the big one will be Michael King, who again you hated parted ways with him. He was good out of the bullpen, and then when they tried to convert him to the starter, he saw some good stuff there, had some potential. But right now he's sitting at a record of 4-4 with an ERA of 4.09. So pitching about a 500. Hit with a 500 record on a 500 team with an ERA over 4. Is that any big loss right now? Probably not really. Johnny Brito right now with a record of 1-2, pitching out of the bullpen, and he's pitching to an ERA of 4. Now, you saw a little bit of him in the Yankee series. They came up in a mop-up role, but again, he's not doing anything great. Randy Vasquez right now, and Drew Thorpe, who you threw in there, he's not even on the roster right now, so, whatever they're doing in the minors, they're not even affecting the San Diego team right now, so again, they're kind of almost like a non-factor until they are a factor. And of course, they threw in Higgy there, the backup catcher. Of course, we know that Higgy was gone once they brought Austin Wells up towards the end of last season, and if you wanted to do a little quick dive there on Higgy, he's pretty much doing what he did with the Yankees last season. He's hitting .133 with 1 home run. So, but again, Higgy was always a defensive guy. He didn't look from the offense. But again, it's not like he's tearing the cover off the ball there. So if you look what the Yankees really sent over there, you're not really sad that you parted ways with him. Again, it would be nice to have Michael King here, but again, nevertheless, the Yankees are able to manage without him there. And we're looking at Luke Weaver, the way he's been pitching late innings games, he's kind of taken over that Michael King role there. So, maybe you could say King is better than Weaver there, but still, even with Weaver, the Yankees aren't really missing much of a beat there. And Clay Holmes, again, for the most part, has been solid for the Yankees. I know he had to win the blip against the Seattle game there. That one was really on him, you say totally. Other than that, he's been holding down the fort there at the back end of the Yankee bullpen. And if you want to look at some of the moves that San Diego also made that, Yankee fans wanted the Yankees to make a cash make, well, Dylan Cease right now, he's pitching to a record of 5-4 with an ERA of 3.29. All right, so a little one game over 500. On a 500 team, basically, in the ERA. That's respectable ERA, 3.29. But what would you rather have, right? Would you have Dylan Cease or probably what the Chicago White Sox wanted, someone probably like Luis Gil in that deal? Well, I'd rather have Luis Gil right now because obviously he's pitching much better and you have him under control for a lot longer than you would have with Dylan Cease right now. So I think it was a good move to not go after Dylan Cease there. And, of course, our old friend there, Wandy Peralta. Again, I would like to have him, but I don't know why the Yankees didn't go after him. They really seemed like they were interested in him. But right now he's with a 1-1 record of 2.95. So looks like he's doing it pretty good there in the San Diego uniform. Again, I would like for the Yankees to hold on to him, but I guess they just let him go there. And he did get a big out against Judge in the San Diego series against the Yankees there. But again, I don't know for some reason Cashman was more than willing to let him walk. I guess Cashman had a bunch of lefties, and they felt like there was no need to put money towards him there, so that's the decision they made. And then last but not least, Luis Reyes, who the Marlins, again, looks like they were dangling him out there. Supposedly the Yankees were going to try to, were going to go after him, but they didn't. I guess I kind of understand why you have Gleyber Torres there and you're paying him money, and he's kind of, you know, that's probably why they probably wanted to roll the dice one more season with Gleyber Torres. That's probably the one move that, you know, maybe didn't work out for the Yankees there. Now, in order for the Yankees to get Luis Reyes from the Marlins there, I mean, they're not going to do a straight-up trade just for Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres is only, first of all, he's making like a little over $10 million. Plus, he's only signed for this year, and that's it. So the Marlins aren't going to like trade Luis Reyes away, who's under control, I believe, till 2026. So they're going to want a boatload back, and it'll probably include someone like, you know, Peraza, maybe Luis Hill, stuff like that. They're going to want some prospects so I don't think the Yankees, that move was there for the New York Yankees. So even though, yeah, Reyes would be much better than Gleyber Torres right now at second base, but I just don't think the move was there to make for the Yankees, so San Diego's swamped in there. But if you want to look at Reyes right now, hitting 333, so well over 300, so you would like that. It'd be much better than Gleyber Torres, like 220 that he's hitting. Only has 1 home run, he's not a power guy, 13 RBIs and 31 runs. So really, Luis Reyes is the one guy of all those that you would like to have there at second base over Gleyber Torres. But again, I don't think that deal was there for Cashman and the Yankees. And I can understand maybe just rolling the dice on Gleyber for one more season to see how it works. Now, as I mentioned before at the top there, Gleyber has been hitting great, has been fielding great. Once the season's done, I don't know. I don't think the Yankees are going to offer him a long-term deal. Let's see what happens. You know, will the Yankees offer him a 2-year deal? And perhaps would he take a 2-year deal to come back to the Yankees? Possibly, because I don't think there's going to be a big market for Gleyber Torres. But I think the Yankees do need to make some sort of upgrade there. If Gleyber Torres continues the way he has this season, again, you got to be hitting better than like 220 there. And again, some of these bonehead plays and some of these errors in the field. He makes some great plays, but he also makes some bad plays there. You got to shore up there in the defense. But overall, if I want to take a step back a little bit, I think, you know, if you want to see both teams there, I think Yankees definitely get the win. Again, as I mentioned before, they're almost 20 games over 500 versus San Diego, who come off a disappointing 2023, and they barely have their head above water at 500 there. So the Yankees look like the better roster right now. So again, for all the complaining you want to do about Cashman there, looks like he's coming out as the winner. Now, another big story around baseball, you know, could affect the Yankees maybe, you know, in the postseason. Hopefully they even get there. But of course, it's Atlanta Braves MVP Ronald Acuna Jr. gone for the rest of the season with a torn ACL, torn on the base pads there. And again, it doesn't really affect the Yankees directly, but let's just say, you know, it'd be nice if the Yankees make the World Series and the Braves there. One of the favorite team. I know that after a great start so far this season there, but they're always going to be in the mix. Again, the Braves are a good team. Won it a couple seasons ago, but of course, you know, would affect obviously Acuna Jr. would not be available for the rest of the season there. So again, could affect the Yankees if they match up in the World Series. Again, getting way too ahead of ourselves, but it is something worth mentioning. Now, again, he didn't have really the greatest start of this season there, so I don't know how it affects the Braves that much. But again, he's coming off an MVP season I mentioned before, and if you just look at his numbers last season, just amazing. Hitting 337, 41 home runs, and 106 RBIs that the Braves now going to have to deal with. Now, of course, the Philadelphia Phillies right now are rocking there in the NL East, and it's really the Yankees and the Phillies right now, two of the best teams in baseball at this moment. So maybe those are the two that collide there. It'll be nice to have like a 2009 rematch, and hopefully it ends in the same way there. But for the Braves, they're going to have to find a way to climb up the NL East ladder without Acuna Jr. Now, quickly, a story that we've been following all season, all these new uniforms and the complaints we've been hearing, of course, from the players. We've had exploding pants. We have small lettering. Well, it looks like finally MLB, at least the Players Association, is going to step in like that. So they're going to update the uniforms. Again, this is the kind of collaboration between Nike and Fanatics there. Some players like it, some players don't. Seem like most don't there. So they are going to update the uniforms, make them better there. So, you know, the translucent pants, the see-through pants, that should fade away, but it's not going to really take effect till 2025. So they're going to have to bear and grin with it for the rest of this season, but finally in 2025, we will get update. We'll get no more exploding pants next season. So that's a good thing. So that's the episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you got some homework to do. You got to subscribe to the audio podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast, and of course on YouTube as well. Crush that like button, Section 420 Talkin Yankees. Catch it all. DJ LeMahieu's back. So far, so good. A little short sample there. Hopefully his foot stays on. Hopefully his foot doesn't crack in half there, and he can contribute to the 2024 Yankee journey.